Wake up, everybody. This for everybody. Come together, everybody. It's time for everybody. Tryna reach everybody. Say everybody.
What's up, Erabody? Welcome back to another episode of Erabody's podcast, where generations collide and cultures combine. Today, we got a great show for you. Today, as special guest, we have Sage Michaels. He's a New Orleans advocate. He also the mayor of Lincoln Beach.
Right.
You hear me?
It's always a good
And we'll get more into that as we go on through this episode. But for now, it's your boy, Ricky.
I'm the Honorable Darren D. Purnell, the street speaker himself. What's up, Rick?
What's going on, D?
Man, it's the first of the month, man.
Yeah.
February. You know what that is?
Happy Black History Month, my
Black
brother.
History Month, man. Proud.
Yeah.
Man. Some people say we don't need it, but anything they willing to give, I'm taking it. I ain't turning down nothing but my collar, all right? But, man, Black History Month. I remember in school, it was such an exciting thing when this month came around, all the teachers decorating their doors. And you do get to learn a little bit more about some of the black people sojourning through. We learned about, I'm forgetting the little girl name, Norman Rockwell. Got the picture of her, and she went to France. So France school she was the first African-American girl, man, I'm losing my black card, but she was the first African-American child to integrate to schools or whatever. And we got to learn about her, Malcolm Martin, Frederick Douglass. And then you start to see in New Orleans, the schools start to change. I don't know if you remember, but a lot of schools used to be named McDonald. Mm-hmm. He was the largest slave owner in Louisiana, and they started changing the names to African-American names. Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass. So what excites you about the month?
Like you said, we get to celebrate for 28 days,
Yeah,
you know, so it's about black people, and we do need to be uplifted. So I'm extremely proud of that.
And I looked into it, why it so happened to be in February, and to educate a lot of black people. They picked February because imagine you graduate and become the first PhD in African American history, but that happened in February. I get voted in as the first African American council person. That happened in February. Shine get to be the first doctor. So just so happened a lot of black accomplishments was happening in February.
Okay.
So Booker T. Washington and them say they picked that month because of a lot of accomplishments, which just so happened landed in February. It wasn't, they didn't have anything to do with it. So once they picked it, just like Memorial Day, they adopted it, but we already got the ball rolling. We was already celebrating it.
Wow, that's good history right there.
So they didn't give us February. They adopted it. We already, and same thing with Memorial Day. Memorial Day is another thing I looked into, that the soldiers of South Carolina, Virginia, one of the states where the African American soldiers was not buried proper. Mm-hmm. So they got them out of the graves that they had them in, gave them a proper burial or whatever, and that became Memorial Day. And another history, family reunion is actually started by us.
Yeah.
So many slaves were sold so many different ways. So when they got free, they started putting it in the newspapers. The Johnson family is going to be meeting up in South Carolina, such and such, or whatever, and people start coming from all over, because that's the only way they can get to reunite with their family.
That's wow.
That's history, man.
That's history.
We have done some amazing things throughout, and we still do amazing things. The only thing that I see where we at now, we don't tell our story. Our story get chopped up so many times. And when the Buffalo Soldiers, I just watched a movie about I forgot the airmen. It was about an airplane that black airmen was flying or whatever, and they were so good at their job. So we have done so much, but we don't tell our story, and we don't shoot our movie. Even Straight Outta Compton, instead of Ice Cube and Dre shooting that, somebody else shot that. It's always somebody else telling our story. I think we have to do a better job, even if it's documentaries, of telling our own stories. So I think that we have a greater impact if we tell it, because somebody else could tell you a story. And I heard Denzel Washington say this in an interview, Rick. The only way we can interact of what a hot comb is in a house, you have to experience and know what that smell like. Mm-hmm. You can read about it, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
It's not
you're
the
right.
same.
You're
So
right.
I think a lot of our experiences, we allow other people to read the story and then they shoot the story, and we sit back and criticize what they do, but ain't nobody stopping us from doing it.
You're right,
That's what
bro.
I think.
But the hot comb is like crazy.
Yeah.
For you to use that as an example, that's
what
crazy.
Denzel was talking to. He said in the Italian movies, most of the directors for the mafia movies, he was like, he said I could shoot that, or somebody else could shoot it. It'll be a good movie, but only Italian that was around there can give you the better story than Inside Out. And on a lot of movies where there wasn't no Italian producer, they consulted with the mob to get the, it's certain little details. Even they had to learn how they wear their clothes. He said, "Nah, we don't wear no suit like that. We don't do this." So little tweaks like that you have to know. And in a black household, that's like, Rick, we know one thing. If your mama got that Gladys Knight on, Patti LaBelle, and you hear smell pine saw, oh boy, the whole house about to get cleaned up. Everybody working up in there, man. It's inspection time coming from top to bottom. So we already know that. But for you to know what time of day it is or whatever, I think that even when I was, only in the black household, the kid part turned into the adult part. The little cake and all that out, and then once that music changed, it's over.
It's over.
Y'all will lay y'all ass down.
Right.
Y'all go
Yeah, you
it's
can't be in this
grown
area.
folks So, and I will say that, man, I always liked the thing, and I will leave with this. Me and my best friend, Darnell Harris, we had a book report. I had Malcolm, he had Martin, on Muhammad Ali. And our principal, Mr. Ernest Lewis, said, "Tell me what you learned about, who y'all wrote about." And he was like, "Man, Muhammad Ali's name was Cassius Clay." Now, me, I played around with my book. I didn't just read it. And he was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "D, Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X was friends?" That made me, because I was more of a Muhammad Ali fan than Malcolm X. And I started looking into it. Then his name was Malcolm Little, and I went through the process of learning about him. But I think this month we should celebrate it and try to find out something new about somebody else or whatever. Whether it's Booker T. Washington, you can go down. We have so many great people throughout history that I think that need to be looked into.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yep.
Next thing that we have, I think which a lot of people are not going to give him credit for, but I think it is a good law with President Trump passing now with the food stamps. In the housing situation, you can't be on Section 8 for life. You can't be a lifer no more.
Yeah.
So he have these laws that's about to be passed now that you can get Section 8. You still can get food stamps. You still get all these things, but it's a little. You have to work the 80 hours a month if you're going to get it. So either a volunteer. So we know most organizations, they struggle to find volunteers. So now if you can't find a job, you have to go volunteer somewhere. So to the people that have organizations, I think you could tap into this. There's something to get more people to come volunteer. But I think that putting this stipulation in place will allow, I would like to study to see. Because my whole life, 41 years, this have been the thing. I would like to see a 15-year stretch so we can compare.
Yeah.
And say, when you're forced to do it, Rick, you're going to do it when you're forced to do it. But if I could sit back and I ain't got no pressure on me, some people, they better when you make them do it.
I agree. But 80 hours, shit, that's
2 40-hour weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 2 40-hour weeks, though. That's what, like the average of what people work.
Average American, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? Especially the change. But like what we kind of talked about in a previous episode is that it's necessary because people get stagnated.
And this was gonna happen, Rick. His couple of years gonna about to end, and when the next Democrat gonna run, what they gonna say?
They're gonna probably change the bill.
They're gonna want to change it. They're gonna run on that. Oh, we're going to put it at 50 hours. We're going to put it at 30 hours. So they're going to keep lowering the mark. I think as a country, we should raise.
Yeah, but that's why it's never a constant.
Yeah.
in politics.
Yeah.
Because the laws are changeable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we as the citizens under whatever government that we under, we the ones who suffer the consequences.
And it's crazy. You just said that. You said whatever laws we under. We've been told, oh, we're a democracy. We're a democracy. And then when you say the Pledge of Allegiance, you say, I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic
For which
we
it
stand.
stands.
So when I Google Republican, democracy is ruled by the majority. A republic is ruled by the Constitution, what was written. So why they keep trying to say as if we got say so?
Right.
When that's why they keep saying this. The Constitution say this. The Constitution say this, or whatever. And but they have us thinking we say a democracy, and it's not.
Yeah. Like I said, we just buy products of whatever go on, man. That's why it's more important too to understand the Constitution.
Right.
So you could find that thin line to travel on. Because with the laws and stuff being passed, a lot of this literature we don't understand as citizens.
Right. And you think schools could do a better job?
I mean, but even the teachers don't know and understand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be a full politician to understand the language and terminology.
I don't almost think they understand it. I think the people that do understand it, they pick people that they can manipulate and use, and they put them in position.
Right.
I never forget this. I don't know what book this was in, but they say that they call them kingmakers, which guys that don't be in power, they'll just put their money behind somebody and help them get in power. Because I know with you in power, I can still do whatever I want. So
through you,
yeah. So and it's this situation is, I just don't think that most citizens know enough. I watch these people and I don't think I'm getting fooled. I watch them go around New York. They have at a pro-Trump rally, and then they'll put the microphone in their face and say, "What do you don't like?" And they going on our universities. This is where our next generation of educated kids supposed to come from. What you don't like about him? Well, he's racist. Like, what makes him?
Right.
He did this law, but because of what? And believe it or not, the media is so powerful that most people just go off of because they see it on the news.
Yeah, they go off of what other people are saying, but nobody have real facts about anything. And one thing I could say about the guy, you know what I'm saying? The reason I like him is for the business structure that he came with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not because of politics, because honestly, I don't think he understands politics.
But I'll take somebody that don't understand politics but understand winning.
Right.
And that's no different than the favorite movie all black people like, Joe Clark. When you coming in to change, you know how many laws Joe Clark broke for ethic-wise?
Right.
But the shit got changed. So do you respect the change maker, or you want somebody that goes straight box? Because oftentimes when you want change, the law's gonna have to, you're gonna have to.
Right.
And all the great people always broke the laws.
Always. And that's the thing too. Is a thin line between being a criminal and a law-abiding citizen.
You know what I tell
It's a very
people?
thin line.
When I run into somebody that's a law-abiding citizen, Rick, you know what I do?
What?
I stay away from
Yeah,
them.
you can't
know
trust them. You can't trust them.
Because slavery was law.
Yeah. And they don't make it right.
They don't
make it right.
So I tell people all the time that people that say, well, I'm not judging somebody for breaking certain laws or whatever. Every United States citizen that's successful, most of them, if they could beat the tax code, Rick, they're gonna beat it.
They're gonna beat it.
They act, and this is what I like about Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton asked him on national TV in a debate. They asked him. She said he don't pay his fair share of taxes. So the moderator said, so did you use tax code? And he said, yeah, sure I did. But she been in government for over 20 years. And she could have shut the loophole. He said, the reason why she ain't shut the loophole, because the same people that's paying her to come against me go through that same loophole.
Yeah,
exactly. If you
exactly.
don't like it, shut it.
Exactly.
So, and he could have lied and say, well, I let my accountants and all that take care of that. Nah, he said the same thing I said. Because every chance and new law that they have that I can take advantage of, I'm going to take advantage of.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
It's the richest country. You can't keep telling me everything we the richest nation in the world, and I'm paying you. Did you see the streets in New Orleans?
I did. But you know, one thing I always go back to too is like, all right, law, right? Land, air, and water. I forgot who gave me that analogy. I think it was Kentrell. Land, air, and water. That's what we governed over.
Yeah.
You can't even go fishing and get, man, fish come abundantly. You know what I'm saying? Fish been here since the biblical era. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And is still magnifying.
Right.
You need a wildlife and fishery card
License,
license to go and actually catch fish.
Yeah.
And if you catch too many, you get fined.
He got not too
The
the
size.
and all that.
Like, come on, man, y'all governing stuff that's free.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. And I'm glad Kentrell gave us that, man. Appreciate that, Kentrell. I never looked at it like that. They have a man in Wisconsin. They try to pass a law that you can collect
Rainwater. Y'all seen it.
And
I
in the
seen
case, the lawyers, the people like, he was like, I lost my crop.
Right.
Because my own well went dry. So I got the water this season so I could water my stuff. And the lawyer I'm so glad the judge got on the other person on ass and took this man's side. I mean, they are really stripping us down from every right that we supposed to have.
Land and water, bro. Land and they want governance over our livelihood.
Yeah. And it's, man, and they say, I've seen this also, a young lady say, it is the United States. She asked a professor this, the greatest country in the world, it's the mystique the United States have.
Mm-hmm.
We're not number one. All the statistical categories, even with healthcare, we not. But we say we number one, the best, and we. It's almost like that. They so good with propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
They make us believe we in a better situation than we are.
Yeah. We as human citizens, we believe it.
Yeah.
You know, and only the woke ones understand that we in crisis.
Yes, and a guy was saying Ti asked a guy he was doing an interview. Shouts out to Tip. I like the new song. Kenny live in the other country, and the guy was like, man, I went in Australia, and it was so amazing out there or whatever. And then the guy said he went to Germany. He said, man, he had to pay nothing. He said the people took good care of me. They health care. They got the billionaires. They go to Germany and all them to go to their hospital. They got a hospital where you get full checkup or whatever, and it take you less time than, boy, you know how if you was down here trying to get a full checkup, blood work, urine work, hair work, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
man, it take you forever.
Yeah.
And so, man, but I do think that we do got a lot of good things going for us, but I think that the mystique, and we got the baddest military in the world. Now, that's no mystique.
Yeah.
So, the leaders be like, shit, we bad. Shit, ain't nobody can beat us.
Right.
We can get them anything.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna believe we that.
I feel like we're headed in the right direction, though. You know, all the things that Trump exposed, you know, all the loopholes.
Yeah.
That your average politician wouldn't be able to catch. It took a businessman to come in and actually expose those loopholes.
Right.
But it's for the benefit of the people. Right. You know what I'm saying? If follow the lead. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think our people is concerned or worried about? I think, especially with women a lot also, and there's no knock on y'all. Feelings supersede reality.
Of course.
They feel a certain way.
Of course.
And they like this particular anchor. Like, Don Lemon got arrested. I don't know what he in jail for, but Don Lemon went to a church and started yelling out things. Like, when you go to church and start doing things like that? But I like Don Lemon. And society has been like this for a long time, and I tell people, when they like you, you can get away with things that when they don't like you, you can't get away with. Mm-hmm. So, in America, they moved that morality and moral meter according to who they like. And that's how most people are. They can gamble, but talk about fat people with, he's sinning. Mm-hmm. They pick the sins that they like.
Right.
And then criticize the ones that
they safeguard the ones they like. You're right. And when they say ain't no sin bigger than the next, you know what I'm saying?
And they don't see it like that. Yeah. They see it as, I'm in shape, I don't gamble, but I drink. Right. Every now and then. Mm-hmm. They'll throw that on there. But he gambling or whatever. Yeah. And then he fat or whatever. So it's those things. And when you got a mind like that, you're not seeking the truth. You seeking validation. They got people you'll be in a debate with. Let's say y'all talking at work, just on Kentwood cooler water talking, and y'all come up with something, y'all don't come up with a clue. They can later be talking to somebody and say, I was talking to somebody at work, and they could find out the truth. They not gonna tell you that they found out the truth.
Mm-hmm.
They'll stop speaking to you.
Oh yeah.
Because you told them the truth.
Yeah.
And they prefer the lie. The lies sound better.
It make them feel better, like you say. It's about that validation.
So
they feel better.
Yeah, and so when it's like that, that ain't too much you can do about a lot of those situations, and a lot of people like that, man. And I think it's bad, but hopefully these new laws are taking place, and I would say as a country as a whole, as a feeling, you can't be in your feelings about things or whatever. I love the truth, Rick. However it comes. Mm-hmm. That's why when I tell people I can go sit down with the KKK, why? I would prefer you to tell me you don't care about me, and I'm not going to buy the house next door to you. I'm going to buy the one over there. Then you to fake like you like me, and then I wake up in the middle of the night.
My shit burning down.
If you don't want me over there, then I don't want to be over there.
Right.
I want to go where, when even a cheer song from the old ball thing, they say I want to go where everybody knows you. That's where most people want to be at. I don't want to go nowhere and they don't want me there. Mm-hmm. And you'll bring harm to me, my kids, or whatever. They got people that move in the neighborhood, and people pausing their trees. They try to grow something. They wondering why it's dying or whatever. That's why.
Right.
Need people doing this stuff to harm you, and when you got kids and all that,
yeah, unwanted territory.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
pausing in your dog.
Yeah,
why my dog still?
The roof was, he didn't, and they doing this stuff or whatever. And then they got some people that would tell you, I don't care if you stay there. I don't want my daughter dating your daughter or whatever. But if I got a fire extinguisher help you put out your house, I'll help you. Mm-hmm. But I don't want mix and mingle.
Right. I'm
fine with that. You let me know where you're staying at. But you know what's worse? When somebody acting like, yeah, buddy. And you say, well, man, they really mess with me. And then your plans die, you just don't know. You're like, man, what's going on? Or whatever.
No, you're absolutely right, man.
Yeah, so.
You're absolutely right. What else they got going on, though? You know, it's festival season, too.
Yeah, it's festival season coming up down here in Rick last night, these bands, man. I have never been in a band, but I love the band music. It's big now here, y'all, in New Orleans. And with the parades come after the parade, they call it the I think in football they call it the fifth quarter, which is the Saints used to lose so much they used to go on Bourbon Street, so they call it the fifth quarter. I forgot what the band heads call it after the band, after the parade and all that. Yeah. That's the get together they like. It's the top bands get to blow at each other, and man, Carvin and St. Oh. And they got so many more, because, you know, it just started.
Yeah, it just started.
They got just started.
Today
but they have something, I think, called Bloody Sunday or something like that. I got to get the information. Where they all meet up at the Rouse's Uptown on Chapatula. Mm-hmm. And all the bands get over there. And you can go get who you want. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what the band heads love. Man, I wish I would have took time out. Rick, you know I ain't do nothing in school.
You ain't do nothing in school?
Once I got to high school, I ain't play ball. I ain't do nothing. And y'all kids right now moving a little fast, and you don't get in nothing, you going to be like me. When I get around my old classmates, Rick, I feel so like
You can't talk nothing sports.
Nothing. I was the one that's coming to school, got the money and all that, and then I'm leaving early. I'm cutting.
But that's still the way we headed at in the world, you know. It's good to be. I feel like, because I was a part of football, you know what I'm saying. But when I got hurt, I got lost, you know. So I lost my dream, and I ain't had the money. You know what I'm saying?
So in your heart of heart, you thought you was going?
I thought I was going. I knew I was going.
I knew I was going.
I knew I was going.
You know when did that realization came to you that you're not going?
When I broke my collarbone and I lost all my scholarships. Yeah, I knew I was going. You know what I'm saying? I had my ticket already, you know, and I didn't have a backup plan. Like, I worked for that all my life. Right. You know, and then, that day in the game, collarbone came loose. You know what I'm saying?
How long it took to heal?
Shit, it's still healing. If I show you that bitch still crooked right now.
So, man,
Yes.
it's crazy to me. My next door neighbor, Paulo, we was the same height. So we played them in the championship, in the 6th grade championship before we go to middle school. All my guys that I was competing with, we was like the same height.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, when they say growth spurt, it was like they was going
They
up,
and you
and
stayed
I'm saying
there.
to myself like, and when I started realizing this, when I realized that I wasn't going. I was playing football. I ain't playing in a while, and then I said I'm gonna go back and try to get in there. Rick, I was always fast, so I call myself a Reggie Bush runner. Reggie Bush never run a contact.
Mhm.
He tried to use his speed to get to the outside.
Mhm.
And I did that bow.
Yeah.
Man, one day these guys started getting trained right, and these same fat guys that I always been running past my whole life, instead of running up, they start sliding.
Yeah,
over.
made you to the corner, beat you at the corner.
And the corners start getting smaller and smaller.
Mhm.
Normally I have forever a 3-lane highway over there.
Mhm.
I say, I ain't getting over there with these no more.
Yeah.
I say, boy, if these boys keep it up, I ain't gonna be able to get over there. So and then I'm getting shorter, and then I had a hernia surgery. I said, oh no, it's my time.
Yeah.
So I left on 7th grade. I left, and I never participated in any sport or anything after that. Then we moved out of the project, Rick. When we moved out of the project, bills started coming in. The project, you only got one bill, a cheap rent. You ain't got to worry about no grass, no none of that. March 27, 1999, we started getting light bills, had to cut the grass, light bill, water bill, cable bill, and mom's just ain't had it. My brother went to prison, and it was like,
Yeah, you had to step in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then with that on my mind, and then I was kind of lost. I ain't gonna lie, I was lost.
Mhm.
As a kid, I after not going to the NBA, being a rapper,
Yeah.
man, I didn't know. Man, Rick, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, but it's like you say, that's 7th grade, so you had an early start on everybody. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When it comes to business, I feel like you are one of the most well-rounded brothers in knowledge that I know. So
Thank you, man.
yeah, you ain't missing up with sports, bro. I'm telling you. You would have had another hernia surgery.
Man, I had heard the man said, how long this not been right there? I said, that been right there. He said, we got to get that
Boy,
now.
that ain't normal.
And I thought it was part of the thing or whatever. You know, in the project, you don't go to the doctor.
Right.
Man, that man said, we got to get rid of this now. And he gave me 2 dates. It was before the season or after the season. I'm like, so it was literally, if I'd have played the season, I would have missed the playoffs.
Mhm.
If I would have took it now, I would have missed the whole season and had to come back in the playoffs. But Rick, when I got that time off, I said, never again, Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I start humping in the hallway. That's another segment right there. All right. This episode is brought to you by Everybody's Coffee. And let's everybody take a drink.
Wake up, everybody. This for everybody.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the episode. And as we promised y'all, we have Sage Michael right here, the mayor of Lincoln Beach. Man, well-known brother for all the community work that he do here in New Orleans. Thank you for coming on, Sage.
Man, thank you, man.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
So look, for all of our audience who may not know you, let the people know a little bit of something, about you. And, we're going to take the interview from there.
I'm born and raised in New Orleans. I'm raised in New Orleans. I went to Phyllis Wheatley in the Feed Project.
Woo woo.
Then from there, I went to McMain. I became a barber right after I graduated McMain in '92. I went to Senecalia, now Delgado. I went to Suno, UNO, and things like that. Was a barber for 30 years, just retired that. Do a barber and seeing my people go through so much over incarceration, targeted with drugs and things like that. Myself and friends go through it. I became, advocate for us going through those legal systems for myself and for my friend and family, participating in legal reform things. And, COVID hit, I just decided to, really try to work on leaving a legacy and change the narrative of black men in New Orleans and local people. So I say, why not, take a proactive protest, a good trouble protest, and restore Lincoln Beach and make it a community project. We did it, and it's a beautiful thing. So, that's what it's about, taking those biblical principles I learned growing up in church at 219 Orleans Avenue, letting the light shine. Do not hide my light on a bushel, and just really like setting a good example of what black people and we could do for ourselves, but open the doors for all people.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I know. Let me ask this, D. I ain't know that you were into what I should say, like the community reform. I ain't know you was into that. I know that you made your mark with the things that you do within the community, like highlighting injustices and stuff like that. But I didn't know that you had spent a lot of time around, making sure that our people are served properly.
Yeah, just to kind of brief on that, as a barber, working my network, one of my clients, he was part of a community advisory group through the Safety and Justice Challenge when New Orleans was under this NOPD consent decree, Orleans Parish Sheriff consent decree, all these things going on. They, MacArthur Foundation funded a Safety and Justice Challenge, and this was to reduce the prison population and reduce ethnic and racial disparities, especially those black people, because that's what stats say. We are taking the most in, we are hurt the most. So, working through that community advisory group, we did projects in our, just did projects to really reduce the incarceration. Things like, making recommendations through jail population management subcommittees. Like, listen, these cases that are 10 years old, that are unprosecutable, let's just drop that. Let's just drop that. And things like that made a lot of people cases just disappear because it was unprosecutable. It was over 10 years and it was nonviolent offenses.
Yeah.
Things like that make sense. And then I also had a fellowship with Orleans Parish Prison Reform Coalition. The executive director at the time was Sade Dumas. And this was we need help, not handcuffs. And so we rather have a mental health facility instead of these mental health, like phase 3 is being built right now and they put mental health in there. Why do we have to see a prison guard, a police, and then get mental health? I'd rather see somebody to help me with mental health than these police. So help, not handcuffs.
Let me ask this question. When the United States government, the state or the city signed a contract with a private prison to have a certain amount of prisoners in the jail, it doesn't matter what we do with these projects, they got to meet quota. It's crazy when I'm reading a report that's saying you got to have 500, let's just say, I'm using this hypothetical number, you got to have 250 prisoners every month. We are obligated to put 200 prisoners in a month. You signed a deal. So now
I do hear that incentive and things like that, but what we did back in those times when it was building new, we had you could only build so many beds, right? We wanted to keep it under 1,000, so we only build so many beds, like say 1,500 beds, right? And then that's a bed cap. But then we also made recommendations to head cap. You can only have so many people in there. And so while there's an incentive to say you got to have these money in there, but we know that you only have a capacity to hold so many people constitutionally in there. So I understand that. Privatization. Right. But see, privatization is just what's been done, as a manipulative way in every aspect of these things.
Right.
Privatization takes over.
How do we reverse that effect, though? I mean, with
why
all the
would we take the deal? Yeah.
Right, with all the initiatives that's going on, that's supposed to keep down the recidivism rate. Why are we still having, combat within the judicial system?
Because that's the way it's designed to trap us in it. And then as long as we keep falling to those status quos and getting trapped in those systems, then we're going to keep having to deal with that. So our goal is to invest in community, not cops. Now, I have a lot of police friends and things like that, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. The police was made as a posse to catch slaves. The prisons was built as a roast motel to hold people in, and it held us in for the most part. And then when we had more police on the street, we had more police corruption on the streets, and it wasn't a result that more police equal less safety, more safety. Actually, less police equal more safety. It is when we have divestment in our communities, these community programs, and not investment in our community things, is when you have the result of these things. It's this thing is this, and when you have communities, and we talk about environmental justice like this, when you have lead water lines that we've been drinking all our lives, and we've been living in projects with lead paint, and we've been living in buildings with asbestos, we've been drinking that, living that, and they've been polluting us all these days, polluting the air, polluting water. What you think come out that? You've been drinking lead water lines, you got lower educational ability, you got behavior issues, and you got all these things, but they privatize the schools. right? They fired all the teachers. You know what they did? Instead of treating us for the medical industry as being lead poison, they just gave Susan Water Board to change the lead water lines on the city side. But they ain't treating you for that behavior that lead caused. They ain't treating you for those milligans that lead caused. $50 million straight to Sewage and Water Board. So they all gonna give the money to them. And when it's time to like help crime, you know what they gave the community advisory group? A little scratch, but they gave the police department so much money and theirs. You know, that's what they do. When you say who the problem is, solve the problem, they're gonna turn it back to the system. The system can't fix the system. It's only when voices like us get in there, right? And that was the goal for me in that, was to find and seat at those tables and be that voice in that matter. And like to bring it forward, dealing with Lincoln Beach, it led me to environmental injustice where like, hold on, we not get what we need on that end. So once again, still, it's being able to be in a voice in those rooms that we not in the room to make effective change for our people.
So how much influence does that actually, move, just even being at those rooms? Because you at the table, when I've seen a lot of, stuff that came out about, the Lincoln Beach era and how you revitalize it and stuff like that. But then once the politicians got a hold of it, it became something else. So being at the rooms, like I really want to know how at the tables, how or why is it important to be at that table and not get other people from the community actually involved to understand what's going on?
Because we chipping away at a 400-something year system. In my day and times, I'm not a fool to think I'm going to flip the system, right? There's a possibility we could flip the system. But the odds are I'm going to chip away at a granite brick building that's set up for me to fail before we born. And so we did have change. Let me give you a real concrete example. And so when we had bond funds, and Reggie Ford is a very advocate. When he touched something, he all on it. Reggie Ford like, look, don't play with the money. Don't make so Lincoln Beach money don't get moved. If we have bond money, that's our money. We paying back. Let's get the max for New Orleans East, right? And so we had bond money get moved to pay another priority off for the city. And so what happened was when you have bond funds out and these projects listed and where they go, and the city got a priority, the administration, the mayor's administration was able to like strip all those projects, all those stormwater projects, like the Mirabelle Garden, the Elysian Fields Corridor, Lincoln Beach. They moved those bond funds and paid off another priority that they had to pay off $35 million to, right? And what it was taking money from one black entity and paying off and trying to find money for Garden Plaza payout. So we align with Garden Plaza. That's environmental injustice, giving them their money. Don't take money from Lincoln Beach and then give it to Garden Plaza. You're trying to make Garden Plaza and Lincoln Beach do what? And so we no. We made sure Garden Plaza had their money. And then at the time, Helena Moreno made sure the money was back and was appropriated. And then and what we did was the new bond sale that came out now that we just voted for, the project list now cannot be changed unless it goes to city council. You understand? This is how we move governance and change things, but it's not on a plaque. But we know we were effective with that. We were effective with creating a Lincoln Beach Community Advisory Committee. All projects don't have that, right? So we created that. The Mayor Cantrell created on my request. So what I'm saying is, you chip away at it, you learn, and you keep plugging the voice. You might shoot for the stars, but in heavens, it's all good.
I might ask this question. In every major city, they have a Sage, they have a Rick, they have an Honorable. We're working. But in Texas, they got something called BillyLand.com. They got, Rick, you can get 500 acres. The Desire Project set on 93 acres of land. Full capacity, Rick, 13,000 residents, right? All right, 2 schools in the Olympic-sized swimming pool. It was built. So why not? All right, man, look, you created the system. I have to fight your system. I would never win in your system. Why not say, well, you know what? We got electricians, we got plumbers, we got all the skills that we need to go out. Let's go build our own thing. Why with us is never on the table and say, you know what? I ain't gonna never have it right. Because even if we do get Obama in office and he look like me, he's still working for the system. If I had a black principal, but the system that he's working in is a bad system, I just got somebody looking like me doing the same thing that the white person was looking like me, or a female, or LGBT. The system ain't gonna change. So why not we take our top, our best, our brightest, go to a place, buy the land, and let's start mapping it out. With a certain amount of people, it could become a city, a municipality, and bam, we on our own. Now, I don't have to worry about if my child with this restaurant, because I ain't got to deal with that. I ain't trying to, no man gonna go in that restaurant because it's law over here. We all are up on that. So why that's never on the table with us?
So, well, two things. One, never expect the oppressor to lift the oppressed. So
Right.
they would never take away, lift us up. They're going to take away from them.
Right.
So
Right.
they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So doing for self, we are caught up in the matrix of individualism. So it's always so many vices for us to get caught up in individualism. See, no matter how many millionaires they got, if you ain't doing what you got to do, that young man I Show Speed went around in Africa just showing them what's happening, right? It's just straight love, right? And people criticize the other people about all these other stars could have did it, but he did it. I look at myself. So when I talk about what we could do, I look at myself. And so, also again, you got to look at disaster capitalism and shock doctrine. You know what I'm saying? What's going on is there's always this thing that y'all can check the books out, make a blank slate and recreate something that they've been planning a long time. So they're gonna use disasters, right? And during Katrina, we couldn't come back. They gave all our houses away, all our land away, and now we got blighted lots, and people not even sitting on their property. They ain't even developing their property. We got blight, right? And so what we did was, let's go back to Lincoln Beach. Why not? What we did, my brother, we went on the other side of the levee. No police, no ambulance, no government, nobody. Wow, anybody over there crossed that levee and said, we on our own. Nothing. We on our own. We did it. All those people you say we did, it's the principle. I know we got everything we need in our community. During COVID, I went through so much. We go to have another segment because I went through so much like things in my life. People don't see that. Look, they see the tip of the iceberg, but they don't see the pressures, the things I went through that really like try to break me, but it only made me right and to like dedicate like a Levite priest. COVID hit. I had other things going on in my life. I said I'm gonna give it all up. Haircut, and I couldn't cut hair. They said, you get a haircut, you're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? I give it all up. So I say, if I go on Lincoln Beach, I'm saying, this land is my land, this land is your land, this man made for you and me. I'm going to hold it down. And I'm going to pray to God and say, God, I'm going to take your principles. I apologize. I'm going to take your principles. This is the church without walls. Because I've been in church. I've been in these things. But if we ain't practicing these things, it says go spell. It spread the gospel. It means go spell. It means go and spell. So I went. And I laid a spell on the land and cleaned the land, took care of the land, and I invited other people with me. And those who came, and we saw the transformation. That attracted $26 million. That attracted projects and teams, and it attracted, what we did was, how many people coming around the Lafite Project, things like that on the New York Times? How many people on USA Today? How many people on ABC News? How many people on the front? NOLA.com, Time-Picayune, Tribune, Louisiana Weekly, Gambit, Action. How many people that took cleaning up trash? Because Jesus washed the disciples' feet. We could clean up our streets and bring our people together, not asking nobody for nothing and say, what could the community have? Community came, took care of me. Right? And then when they got threatened by government saying, y'all trespassing, right? When they got threatened by people busting windows, right? When they got threatened by them sitting, parking people out, right, giving us tickets, we still held it down. When all the kind of violence and threats, life-threatening threat, we held it down through storms. We brought it back together, bro.
So you been there?
I've been there.
I've been
I met Sage. I met him over there.
Yeah.
I went over there with Bradisha.
Yeah, I went there.
And I saw he was on a canoe though.
Kayak.
I'm sorry. Kayak. I'm sorry. He was kayaking the whole. I'm like,
and what the difference is between a canoe and a kayak?
Yeah.
Enlighten us.
Yeah, so for me, a canoe, it holds a lot of weight, but it could tip over easier. It's a one oar, right?
Okay.
It could tip over. That's my point.
Yeah.
For a kayak, it has a lot of balance.
Okay.
And there's two types. You can sit in it, and then you can put a skirt on, and the water won't get in it. And they got a type you can sit on top, and it's balanced, right? And it's like that. So for me, I'm more of a kayak than a canoe, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little clumsy.
Yeah. So when I seen him, I'm like, man, this is amazing. I wanted to be like, man, let me get in there, but it looked like it wasn't safe. However, my next question is, what made you go over that levee? Like, did you already know that sacred space was there? How did you discover it?
Yeah, like when we growing up, we hear stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
In our childhood, that we recall. We don't know who said it, but Lincoln Beach. And when I was 24 and I first moved in New Orleans East, bought my house, I went across that levee. I knew where it was. Went across the levee with my dogs. It was wild. I think I saw alligator wall and then I left.
Yeah.
But when COVID came, I knew, and I didn't see Black Lives Matter in New Orleans. Then I saw the local people getting like kind of pushed out of New Orleans. And then I did a lot of stuff in my past in the poetry community too. As I was a barber, when I went through those things, those pressures, I started writing poetry. And I started producing poetry shows at Ebony Square, which is now Shire Restaurant. And Katrina hit, that's when we stopped. But I have the poetry community in me. That's why I know Sonny Patterson, Icon, all those great, and Frederick De La Houssaye, all these great poets, we took that and made poetry. You hear it in my speaking. You hear it in what I see on Instagram. It's more poetic on that way. But, that's what I say, we needed to stand for something. And I say that I've been a lot in my life. I've been a barber. I've been in the criminal reform world. I did after Katrina. I gutted houses. I did trees. I was a journeyman plumber, 5 years of that. I did HVAC work. I was a Boy Scout. I played violin, man. You know what I'm saying? I just did a lot in my life. And I say, okay, life is not promised. You don't know what tomorrow going to bring you. What can you put your 10 toes down on and say, like, commit to? And that's what I did. I gave it all up and I committed to something I knew that was righteous.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
So the crazy thing is, my mama been here too, 50-something years. You know what I'm saying? And never heard of Lincoln Beach until me, my wife, and my kids, came back there and we seen you. You know what I'm saying?
It's criminal. It's criminal that we're not educated on those things which is around us, especially that historic spot. They let a historian say, they let that forest grow so you don't know about what you got. I see so many people on Hamm Boulevard go down Hamm, make it a right on Vince when it should be to make that life and go to heaven on earth. I call it heaven on earth because it's like Madagascar. It got its own ecosystem, right? And then when you walking through the forest, it's so many energies that change. You walking through a forest, that's a forest bath. The energy, the water vapor, hydroprecipitation from the trees, you're breathing all that full oxygen, the energy from the trees, you're walking through that. And when you get to the beach, that clear water, that clear air coming across the lake with those minerals come out the lake, and then you're on that water, it's like healing water out there, you know what I'm saying? It's the cleanest water on the lake because the Ranger clamshell, which are out there, clean the water, and it's away from all those stormwater outlets. So it's a treasure. Yeah. And I wasn't going to let that what they treat as trash go down, and I saw some moves. I said, "Nah, we gonna be all up in that. Yeah. For us, and not for me." And that's the other thing. It wasn't for me; it's for us. And like I said earlier, what you said earlier, how do we do these things for us? See, we gotta start off with us. It's not me; it's us. It's not what I do; it's what the community do. Right. And so, if you put principles in your mind from the beginning and say us instead of me, and you say, I want us to have instead of me to have, and go righteousness, then we start rolling a better wheel of way,
When I went out there, man, I seen how clear the water was, Rick. I took a Corona bottle. Our brothers and sisters from the Hispanic race who spent a lot of time out there, because we was out there would have been Heineken. So I took the clear bottle, and I have it in my office right now. And I bottled some of the water and I have it as a souvenir or whatever. And I took my cousins from Atlanta out there. They was amazed that New Orleans have a beach. Many people never know that they had a beach or whatever. And it's beautiful. Once and it tells that story. I have a friend named Waleed. I used to walk the levee. When I got to that trash can at the end, I just turned around. One day I'm looking at him on social media. They going by Lincoln Beach. I hit him up. I said, man, where that's at? Because I see the levee when they coming from over. And he was like, where you be walking at? And I'm like, what you mean? He was like, look over the wall. I look over the wall. I see a ladder. And then I said, well, what to do? It looked like bushes and all that. I'm like, man, I ain't about to go in that.
Right.
That seems scary move with Dave Black.
Right.
Man, I go through there and bust through there. And, man, my God, on the other side of there, like you said, man, heaven. I'm like, where did they get this type of sand from? And then the water was clear. Lake Pontchartrain. Dirty Lake Pontchartrain. Clear.
The Bible said, Lord, give us this day on earth as it is in heaven. And so I just trying to find that part, that on earth part. You know what I'm saying? And so when I was a barber for 30 years, the landscape and all that. So I say, I saw that. I say, wow, this is beautiful. What people see as a bush or something, I saw as a fade. I saw like, wow, it's all here. Everything in my life culminated to this right here. Yeah. So yeah, man. But we live surrounded by water. We live in field water, and we live with these boundaries, like these thin lines. It's like you tame a lion, beat him down, and put a chain on him, but later you could put a rope on him, right? You see people always want to tame the thing, and then once that lion eat them, they were like, oh, the lion, you want to kill a lion. And so now it's like, okay, you want to tame the lions, right? But when a lion crossed that levee and say, no, this is beautiful, we're going to take care of this. And then with the Honduran population came around, and then they took care of us as well. We managed that. So it's like when you talk about how you do these things, that's a practice of democracy Lincoln Beach was, right? Practice of self-governing, right? I was everything around there. Yeah. I was well respected.
So, as
you still well respected, brother.
But as a functioning part on that land, not too many people could manage thousands of people, and they found a safe space.
Yeah.
They cut, you know what I'm saying? So like we had walk and talk. It was amazing how people say like, dang.
And even with the track you set up, and that's why when I brought up the empty land and the acres, I watched your trash system that you have. Everybody know how to do the trash. You had and then you were smart enough to move the trash pile away from. When you on the beach, you don't really see the trash. Just like away from it, so you don't get the woof of it or anything. So
Lincoln Beach is we did that as not to say like, but that's an example how you could take anything you want to do,
right,
and do that part. Right. Well, actually, yeah, I went from clean Lincoln Beach to clean our neighborhoods,
right,
co-founding culture cleanliness, right, fighting for environmental justice. It's my almost 4 years I've been a climate justice organizer with Healthy Golf. I'm a fellowship program manager, and my job with Healthy Golf as a climate justice organizer is to help marginalized communities. And guess which one marginalized? New Orleans East. Well, goddamn it, New Orleans East it is.
Yeah.
So my whole work for the last 4 years with Healthy Golf is focused on New Orleans East, adapting to climate, and guess what? Making sure local people got power and appreciate it with many different projects that funding I didn't bring in New Orleans East, like thousands of dollars, like on these projects and connecting these communities, supporting our businesses. Like when I have these projects, I'm getting food from Todd Nola. I'm getting food off my restaurants off a shelf.
Right.
These things what we do, what we bring money to New Orleans East like that, including Lincoln Beach is now on a historic register.
Yeah.
So what did we do? We have our project not sitting there getting neglected, but it's on historic register right now.
Right. And I'm gonna ask you a question, and that's the good part of Lincoln Beach. But I've been seeing something, and we love what you're doing with Lincoln Beach, but I've been seeing. I thought all the canals was for runoff and rainwater and things of that nature. But I've been seeing you post about the discharge and sewage in our canals. Is it dangerous? What kind of danger it is or whatever? What's the update on that?
So it is dangerous. Actually, Sewage and Water Board right now is under a sewage consent decree under the EPA right now.
Right.
And so the monitoring agency for them is Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. And so, this is from going back in times where there was discharging raw sewage into the waterways, and they have to be monitored, just like consent decrees on NOPD.
Yeah.
Just like consent decrees on the sheriff. We live in a consent decree city.
What?
So, all right, we'll break it down, all right, and reduce to the lowest term. When you come under this consent decree, that means you was doing so shitty of a job, I got to step in to basically supervise you to make sure that you just follow the basics of what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, basic. And for me, sewage is so important. You won't have a civilization unless you manage sewage.
Right.
When I discovered the sewage discharge in the canals and a lack of prioritizing it and what I had to do to make a response, bro, I had to really, really go to length. like really like to try to like get a response. Listen, you know, I posted on. I had to go out there for one and get exposed to it.
Right.
That's one.
Mm-hmm.
The community member, Miss Chastity Blackstone, contacted me because I let people know, and this was like, this is what we've been smelling all these years.
Years.
For years.
Yeah.
Years.
Say until you show that it was sewage back there, we didn't know that we were smelling rotten egg, getting headaches, all these health concerns for years.
And that's on the wire.
On
Yeah.
wire. This is from
you right.
This is from Reed to LaFawn.
You sure right.
Right?
Yeah.
You right.
For years.
And this crazy part about it, when I was in the design, we had a couple of backups. And to see you playing outside and somebody taking a shit and a pipe is busting, you seeing it coming down there, but it stink. But every now and then you get the wind when it's blowing the right direction. That's you like, it mess up everything. It's
yeah.
like,
So what you have is, we call it rotten egg, but the correct term so you can talk to people is hydrogen sulfide. And so what's egregious to me is the hypocrisy in government, right? All buildings, sewage and water board require all buildings when they have sewage to have a vent pipe, and all connections have to have a P-trap.
Right.
What you see under your sinks, and you might not see in your roof for your AC drain, is a little U-shaped pipe that goes outward to your drain.
Right.
That U right here holds a little bit of water, so the sewage line that's back there, when the air comes back, that water stops that air from coming into your home.
Right.
That's poisonous.
Right.
So you acquired that, right? And so when sewage and water board have all these, first of all, so many broken sewage lift stations along the wire and sewage lines that are evidently broken along the wire. Let's just talk about one stretch. There are many different ways. I
hate driving up the wire.
All right, but hear me out. When you have that just on the sewage side, I can tell you why it's bad. But when you have that sewage going and fall in the canal, bro, you got all that pollution going into first of all into the stormwater. When all that goes to a pump that goes to the lake, that goes to Lincoln Beach.
And then goes
So,
to
bro, I'm like, no matter what I do on clean up Lincoln Beach, no matter what I do on clean up the community, no matter what y'all doing trying to find affordable housing, they trying to fight for Office of Resilience Sustainability to stay open. When they messed over Lincoln Beach, I'm gonna throw that in the record.
Yeah.
But when you fight for all these other things, do not matter if you got sewage in your backyard. In my backyard.
Yeah.
right.
Like you said earlier, it matters to me because it's in my backyard. But those workers get in their car and go home.
Right.
So I'm gonna make sure that I realize this is a federal violation of the Clean Water Act, bro. But see, the disparity is, I'm thank y'all for inviting me on this show. The disparity is, Uptown, when they had sewage leaking in the street, Uptown, channel, they had a news agency over there reporting that.
Right. And yesterday, not
Yeah,
speaking
water
of that,
break, man,
they had-
water break.
So when a water main broke Uptown, they out there reporting that, bro. They got a water main right now on LaFawn, right off of Dwyer. You go up on a levee, you got gravel for you to walk up on. You can see a water main leaking. It's been leaking over a year. You drive on Dwyer, I'm telling you, I reported sewage discharge from Wilson, sewage discharge at Gawain and Dwyer, sewage discharge at Charlene and Dwyer. We got 2 Louisiana Department of Environmental complaints on these matters. I reported Sewage and Water Board. I've appeared at Sewage and Water Board Finance Administrative Committee meeting. They say talk to the boss. I talk to the boss. They know. So, you know what I'm saying? I even find out different ways you can report. I reported the state police. I got a complaint on the state police with them.
So,
listen.
hold on. I gotta ask you that. Can you call the state police or something like that?
I got a complaint on the state police now.
So, but now you educating us.
I learned too.
What,
But let me tell you something. Thankful, not just me, but thankful community members. See, we got everything we need in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And see, friends, talking about the barter system. I know I don't know everything, but I know a doctor, I know a lawyer, I know a police, I know a community member. So I'm give credit, Chastity Blackstone. You know, she's been on this too. Her whole house affected. So she's like, one time I was like, damn man, they got us stuck. She looked at me, we ain't never stuck. I was like, whoa, I got a fighter with me.
Yeah.
Right.
I got
Yeah.
a soldier.
Mhm.
So guess what? Just having one soldier with me, it's like give me light to like keep going.
Yeah,
Right?
you're right.
And so that matters. He's like, no, we could call the fire department too. So we can work on that. Or we could call the state police. So and guess what? People like, well, what about all your elected officials? What about your people? I called all of them.
Mhm.
All of them responded. From Congressman Troy Carter, Helena Moreno, Oliver Thomas, from the beginning. Oliver Thomas responded before he, moved out of office. He said, Sage, make sure you talk about the compounded effects of this. Sage, make sure you stay on that. Don't forget that. I'm gonna tell you anything. So the man was like, listen, I know I'm on my way out, but here's something I know you're gonna take. It's compound effects. Don't just say it's clean now. How long has it been going on, like you say, for a long time?
Mhm.
What's the compound effects of you being exposed to this, to the air, which they don't have no accountability, no measuring. Children Water Board don't care about those bypass stations. I had to force them to put lids over it, bro. Like they got 2 manholes open, sewage open. They got these wet wells open, and they're wide open with pipes with sewage jumping in them.
So
You gotta be kidding me.
I want to ask you this question. So many of our brothers and sisters work for Sewage and Water Board. Sewage and Water Board is a premier job they have in New Orleans. Do you think it is the lack of supervision, or they don't prioritize us like that, or we don't apply pressure like that to make them, or it's just not a good organization that need to be changed from the top to the bottom?
So I think right now, I'll say this: the gentleman who heads Sewage and Water Board right now, he just got the job.
All right. So
Let-
how much time should we give him?
I'll believe in collaboration. Brother Willie Muhammad told me this. I take advice from my brothers, right? He said, keep knocking on the doors before you kick them in. Don't just go kicking them in.
Right.
Knock on them first.
Right.
They might just answer.
Mhm.
And so I give people an opportunity to collaborate, work, network, and if you show me your true colors, then you're going to get the other side of New Orleans.
So has that, since he's been in office, have you seen signs of collaboration?
The new director
Yeah.
of Sewage and Water Board.
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen signs of that. Actually, the deputy superintendent just emailed me the other day to schedule a walkthrough of the site on
Okay.
Dwyer Friday at noon and invited community members. So any community member who listen to this, who's concerned, we're going to be meeting at 12 along Dwyer, probably Dwyer and Charlene, Dwyer and Gawain, location not to be determined, but come have a walkthrough.
I might take you up on that. And I'm gonna ask you a question, because Purnell Superstar Cleaning is one of the greatest cleaning companies. Do they have it where we can actually clean it up, or you have to have certain? I know different levels of cleaning. You need certain qualifications, but do they have it where if we in a collaboration and say, well, look, if we spotted it and we start the cleanup or whatever, we'll bill you guys for it. Do they have it like that in the city of New Orleans? I never looked into it, but you can enlighten us.
I think you should work that out. I think you should mention that to them that might need to be outsourced because they are limited. Now, they are required to respond to any sewage discharges to LDEQ within 24 hours. So when I call 52 Water and I say, I see sewage, right then and there, once they respond, they have 24 hours to call them and they have 5 days to write them.
All right, now say that number again for people in New Orleans.
504-52 Water. If you smell rotten egg, if you see something coming out the manhole, that's sewage. If you see water line breaks, call it up. If you see a clogged storm line, a storm drain, if you see water not going down the storm drain, you see a broken fire hydrant. Listen, Sewage and Water Board don't know. They don't have any things connected to this.
Mm-hmm.
And people who work could ride by this all day. But if you work sewage and you see a water line broke, you're not calling a water line. If you work in water line, you see sewage leaking, you're not calling in sewage.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
it just put the
but,
foot.
But the workers, it's Sewage and Water Board cutting grass. They're not calling in water leaks or sewage leaks. See, when you have me, if I have my employees out there, listen, guys, if you see these things, I need you to report it because I could expedite them.
Right.
So I'm actually this,
Right.
and this happened.
Right.
That's some make sense type of stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
This happened New Year's when crossed the river, and it was happened to Reggie on I think it's Auntie.
And it happened. And it happened last New Year's before that. On and I got footage of that. Go ahead.
When the fire hydrant didn't work, and I don't know when the report come out. The report has not been out yet, right?
Not that long.
So, all right. So, what I was told, I didn't look it up, that the fire department is supposed to consistently check them, but to make sure they work proper, the sewage and water board keep them working. So, it's Rick's job to check them, and if they're not working properly, you send a report over, and we doing them. So for somebody's house to burn down, that's horrible. But when I got a fire hydrant in front of my damn house, and I could have saved my house, and they try to plug into it,
And nothing come out.
And I'm not that far from a fire station. If you're an insurance company, let's just think like insurance company. Would you send your investigator out there and say, well, look, I'm suing the city of New Orleans and the fire department because I'm not going to pay the claim on a $200,000 house when this shit should be minimum $15,000. But if I do that, now I'm holding up the homeowner in the process. Would you, let's just think like a businessman.
But you had to think like a businessman. You know, the first job in insurance was insurance slave. So the best thing for insurance company is not to pay.
So they just gave the insurance company the reason.
Not to pay.
Not to pay. So not a homeowner sitting here, I'm paying my tax dollars to this city, to these two departments, and I'm paying to the insurance company. As an insurance person, I'm looking at it like, hold on. This ain't nothing from you. That fire was literally 5 minutes from the fire department. And you stay right in front of there. I'm not against, I hate insurance company because they always try to cut you. But I'll be at the table with this one like, this whole $200,000 job ain't on me.
All right, but here's the disparity. Let me tell you a couple of disparities. One, New Orleans flooded for Katrina, right?
Yeah.
So me having learning a lot of things about water studies and these projects to adapt to water and flooding, you got to have a water study done. And the city has sponsored water studies. They call hydrologic and hydrology studies. How water moves in and out the system naturally, and if you're affected, what to do. These are big studies, right? None done east of the Industrial Canal. They done on the other side. That's why you got these projects going in Lakeview. That's why you got your projects in Chile Resilience District. That's why you got them projects on Broadway. That's why you got them projects on Elysian Fields. You see, the disparity is that you got all these FEMA money, you got all these studies, but none done in New Orleans East, bro. That's one thing. So we ain't getting an adaptation. So when the study gets done on bond money that all us paying back, when that study done in Lakeview, when they study done in Central City, we paying for them to their insurance gonna drop.
Right.
Because now they adapted to the flooding.
Right.
They have reduced the risk. Because the cost benefit analysis say, if I put this money in Lakeview, I'm gonna save more money than I put it in New Orleans East next to Walnut Square.
And I got another question.
It's a game.
I got to answer
it's
this
a game.
question.
You see what I'm saying? There's disaster capitalism.
All right.
But I want to complete what you said earlier too, because when you say you don't like driving down Dwyer, why it's raggedy?
It got it's 2 minute speed bumps.
All right, let me tell you.
And it's not legal speed
So
bumps.
right.
It's the street buckle.
That's the water pipes and infrastructure going across because the ground sinking. Every straight line you see is a water line, gas pipe across.
Right.
The ground sinking. What about Morrison? Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Terrible, right?
Right.
Both of them got canals. Let me give you a little bit of science. The high ground is shelf, right?
Yeah.
That's a natural high ground. The river used to run right there. Natural high ridge. The natives used to come down there.
Yeah.
You can go to Mississippi from there, right?
Right.
The other high ground is the lake. And what's in between shelf and the lake and Haynes Boulevard? Mars and Dwight.
Right.
Right?
Bowl,
the
right.
bowl, right?
Right.
So you got that bowl, right? Our house right at the bottom of the bowl. So what should the water bowl do? Them canals, you see where that water table at? It's down here, right?
Yeah.
So this is sponge now. My house once had water under it, hold it up. So the water bowl dropped the water table because they're so scared about water. They drop it down so low. So you know what's happening to my house on top in the streets? Shrinking, subsided. So what's happening is when you got the street on this side of Dwyer shrinking, and you got a stormwater canal right here, you got a sewage lift station right here, and that pipe crossing it, right? When that street drop, what that pipe gonna do? Break.
Mm-hmm.
When that pipe along this canal that's made out of cast iron is eventually gonna rot. Everything eventually gonna rot, y'all.
Right.
cast iron, PVC, everything you give away. But all this subsidence,
Right.
the joint's gonna break. Right? So what I'm saying is they have dropped the water table down so low, so they are whether they know it or not, are liable for every home around there got foundation problems. They're liable for every sewage line, every water line breaking up around there. Go by Dwyer around Livingston School right now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Da-doom,
Yeah.
da-doom,
Yeah, you sure
da-doom.
Yeah, that's
You
what
see,
I'm
bro, that's why he all night between cars on Almanaster and gun shooting on Almanaster and the trains on Almanaster to people busting their cars right there.
Yep.
But Seward and Walbert, and there's a water line broke under there.
Right.
They know it. There's a water line leaking over there. There's sewage in that canal all in one area. And nobody reported it. And I just want to say this, man, when you got the invitation to bring me on this show, thank you, brother. I know we've been traveling around. I said we're always doing our work, right? And this is what I say about this. As long as we are lions, as long as lionesses doing our work, brothers, we're all gonna meet somewhere at the watering hole, right?
Right.
And this is the watering hole, what I say. You all are continuously doing your work. I appreciate that. Giving voices to our issues. And you say, we got to give Sage a voice on these issues. It matters to me. And I just say, sewage is an emergency. If that's being discharged, that's a big emergency. And I'm going to keep highlighting it. It prompted me to create
keep on doing it.
It prompted me to create my own news channel, WSAG.
Yeah, I seen it. I seen
know
it.
what I'm
I have to ask you this question. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in St. Bernard. I tell Rick this. I told him about this. I've been going to St. Bernard Parish. After Hurricane Katrina, and this, I would say, this, I'm going to do a comparison, white and black. St. Bernard Parish is majority white. St. Tammany is majority white. New Orleans is majority black. All of them got the money, and New Orleans got more money. All their streets fixed. After they fixed every street in St. Bernard Parish. It's smooth. Every street. Every lot. I tell you about this all the time. I have a warehouse in Erabody. You may see two houses. If it's an empty lot, it's cut in a neat fashion. Whatever their rules is in St. Bernard Parish, they don't have slum laws. You don't got a long time to be a slumlord in St. Bernard.
Mm-hmm.
Why we don't just adopt all that money that came from Nagins to Landry or whatever? Why we ain't just took our time and fixed up our city? And we could have did the same thing they did. You may know about it more than me.
So let's just talk about two things. If we have time.
All right.
Let's talk about the street project, and then let's talk about Lincoln Beach as examples. Now, I'm not attacking a person. I'm talking about the management during a period of time. So under Mayor Cantrell's administration, a guy named Ramsey Green was chief engineer, the streets projects. So like this how the street debacle went down, right? So first, in administration, they had a chief engineer named Ramsey Green. Right. So he had decided to say, okay, I got all this federal money directly to me, right? Because the fair is like, listen, every time we put the money in the state hand, it never get down to the cities. So let's take the American Rescue Plan Act, let's take the Infrastructure Investment Job Act funding and give it straight to the administration so y'all can give it straight to the people, right? So, okay, Mayor Cantrell at the time said, okay, Ramsey Green, you're my chief engineer. Here it is. Go take care of the streets, bro. Go take care of it. I got a lot more to do, right? So Ramsey Green said, bet. So Ramsey Green went and gave all his friends contracts. And what they did was, instead of him managing it to make sure, like, you start a project, before I give you another project to open up, let me give you some completion rate, evaluate you on how you did on that if I'm going to keep going with you, right? So what he did was he gave people like 5, 6 projects at one time. So they played a shell game. Let's start on Street A. And then get that first draw right there, about 40% of that money. Then go open up Street B and get that money. Open up Street C. But they never finished A. They never finished B. So the whole while, these people getting all this open startup money, not completing no projects. So that's why when you see we had all around the city, like, hold on. We got all this money, but nothing ain't happening, but the streets being bust up.
Right.
You can't get around. Quality of life was terrible.
Right.
So what's the problem? Well, Ramsey Green all of a sudden retired. That's like firing somebody in government. Like you gonna retire. It's on you.
Right.
Mayor Cantrell put it in your hand.
Right.
You made me look bad. You gotta go. So she brought on a man named Joseph Threat, who handled FEMA money, who handled bond money. All right, Joe Threat, I'm gonna create you the deputy CEO, and you the chief resilience officer. I'm gonna have the Office of Resilience Sustainability under you, which manages Lincoln Beach, and Department of Public Works, which manages streets and roads. Well, what happened on this time? For one, they was like sitting on FEMA money. They're like, we're gonna sit on it, we're gonna wait, inflation high. But then once you get the projects back open, it's another bad quality of work. We in the same situation again. We got all these projects open. You can't afford to pay nobody because they must take the extensions for FEMA to pay nobody.
Right.
Like, how you not, when you got to pay these contracts, how you not making sure the money in the bank to pay these people? So you got contractors who really trying to do the work, who really doing the work now, who agreed to work with the citizens that first time. That's the problem. We got so many bad business there in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. People don't much want to work with us.
Yeah.
Right.
They almost want to apply for the contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Some
Some of the best of the best.
Right?
They don't almost fill out.
Right, because they say New Orleans take too long to pay.
Man, they do.
Right?
They do.
Yeah.
You take too long to pay it back. I don't have the money to hold on to it. Me, myself, I don't like this DBE program because it takes out the black people. It takes out local people. That program, as best as they have it, does not recognize race, does not recognize locals. With those two things and other things, it is not equitable, right? So all I'm saying is the second time that street project got opened, they was waiting on a FEMA extension, so these people wasn't getting paid.
Right.
So the work stopped.
Nah.
So once they negotiated the FEMA extension, right, then they was able to get the streets back going. And so now you see street projects going on again.
Yeah.
Right?
I won a janitorial contract, Rick, with the city of New Orleans. I won it. I'm sitting in there, I won it or whatever. Ask me when it started.
When?
That was 6 years ago. I was so happy. That was a nice size contract. I finally chipping at it.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me when it gonna start.
When they gonna start?
They ain't never tell me. My secretary emailed the city once a month and asked them, and they reply, the project have not started yet. Well, how I won a contract, that's all they
You said 6 years ago.
6 years ago. And the man told me don't bid on it. He was like, you gonna regret working for the city of New Orleans. And I am not, and that's what most contractors that you see. They got so many people say they don't just want to deal with New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I do want to say this now, so I'm not a political loyalist, right? I work with those who work for me. Mm-hmm. And when I'm talking to any elected person, I'm not looking for nothing for me. I'm looking for something for my community.
Right.
They got our collective resources, and they got a pen to bring it back home.
Right.
Right. So when I'm talking to elected people, trust me, I ain't if like look out for me. No, I say look out for my community.
Right.
Which is New Orleans East, which are black people, minorities like that. So I just want to say that to say that I believe that the new mayor, Helena Moreno, knows how to like manage things, right? Know how to put teams together who know how to manage things. I believe Jason Hughes himself is a person that's really, really like got a lot of experience, know how to manage things, right? So I feel confident, and actually, and some of my other Representative Charles Carter on the federal level. For me, living in New Orleans East and where I live, and actually Candace Newell is my state rep. There's an election going on right now for District 100, Jason Hughes seat. So I encourage everybody to go out vote for that, for state Senate seats and Senate rep seats. But I feel real comfortable now with my elected representatives to go and represent my community.
What it would take to get which we call CTC Cross Canal, the lower ninth wall. It had the high. It rained toe to toe with the East in home ownership. It gave the East a run for his money before Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, man, that was the first home ownership.
Man, most of them shotgun houses or whatever. Those guys, many of those older black people own those houses. What they have done to the lower ninth wall is a shame. Is a crime. We had after the storm, it was Nagin and Bush. After that, we had Landrieu and President Obama. After that, we had TD and
Yeah, so like I said earlier, it's the shock doctrine. It's disaster capitalism, bro. It's like don't be surprised what you see. It's a recipe, like you know what I'm saying, like like when my grandma used to cook chitlins on the Million Street uptown, and I walked up, I knew chitlin was on the menu.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, disaster capitalism. Look it up. The shock doctrine. It's a book. These are recipes. These are plans of action. So once you learn the plans that are in action, the result is predictable, right?
Right.
It equals this. An equation equals that.
Right.
When you in our communities, when you divest from education, when you undereducate us, right? When you take the schools out, when John Mack look ridiculous, but Brickell is looking beautiful, right? When Fauché looking ridiculous, right? But Lusher looking beautiful. You got to think.
Right.
It's the people who manage the building, right? So it's a plan, right? It's the people, no matter what they are. Because if you're working for one plan, the imperialistic colonizer of society, then you're working for him. And if you're black, if you're coconut, then you're working for the man, working for that imperialistic society, right? So what I say a coconut is, coconut. People throw coconuts on Mardi Gras, you know what I'm saying? People dress in blackface doing Mardi Gras, all those kind of things like that, representing Zulu nations. But a coconut is a black person that's purely white on the inside and hard-headed. So we got a lot of coconuts out here, right?
I like that.
We do have a lot of coconuts. We got rotten coconuts, I should say, because
Right.
I could take coconut, drink the milk, and put the oil on my skin and be healthy, right? But we got a lot of rotten coconuts out here, right? But then also you got a lot of gentrifiers out here and transplants that not community, that not concerned connecting to our issues, right?
Right.
They'll show up to City Hall for solar panels, but they won't show up to City Hall to fight for families.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Like you're hypocritical. You'll show up to fight for. When Mayor Heleno said, "Listen, I need to reorganize this Office of Resilient Sustainable department because I think we could manage it better. I'm gonna fire some of y'all. I'm gonna remanage how I do these projects." They went and had a rally for that. They went and did petitions for that. But guess what? We talk about people who are in positions, right? Let's kind of get back to that a little bit. Office of Resilient and Sustainability. For 5 years, we put our own hard work into the project, right? Needless to say, it ain't about me. It's about what the community did because the government did. All right? We gave y'all the ball. Take it, run with it, and it fell. It's not open. A park. That was crazy. Now I just posted up. Not Alderman, the dude who put the city in the hole, the CEO, Gilbert Montano, he managing the Alderman riverfront now.
Right.
But the state owned that. They let Alderman manage it. But guess what? Same 4 years that Lincoln Beach been running, not open, they almost finished construction. A basic park. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You got the state about to open up something on the river, right? Connect this. I'm glad for them. You got projects in Lakeview, Broadview, Central City, adapting to flooding. I'm proud for them. But what about New Orleans? Why are we all getting left out and last? I don't want to connect this about now. ORS is under Georgia threat, right? And then they had the project manager at the time was Sharon Robles. Not our people, not our from our race. She was managing the project, right? The project sat under her. They brought in a Boston contractor for design. They gave us a pie in the sky. All that money went to the design and planning. Had all those meetings. Tell us what you want. Here's a board, a blank sheet of paper. Give us your wildest dreams. And all we want is a basic park. All we want is to go walk to the water. They say, no, Joe the Threat. Like, no, I want it big. I want it busting. Say, bro, Netflix came at me wanting to do a special. Joe the Threat say no.
I remember that too.
You remember that?
I remember that, yes. Yep.
Say, bro, I remember Discovery Channel wanted to put us on Discovery. Joe the Threat say no. Bro, we had a fight to get New York Times on the beach to take a picture to get on New York Times. You understand? But they putting up all these other people, putting up all these other things. So what I'm telling you is, Office of Resilience and Sustainability under Joe the Threat, he hired 2 people. The Deputy Resilience Officer, Greg Nichols. You can look up his LinkedIn. This dude started at Teach America at Abramson, writing education curriculum. Then all of a sudden, he's Deputy Resilience Officer. He had an intern, a resilience intern, and then he all of a sudden Deputy Resilience Officer getting 6 figures.
Yeah.
Benefits, running resilience, running Lincoln Beach. Sharon Robles, the project manager at the time, started off when she majored in public relations.
Well,
And you meet me at Lincoln Beach, and you're gonna tell me I can't be there?
yeah.
You call that public relations? This lady got a master's in public relations. You tell me I can't be there, but hear me out. I'm gonna finish my point. This lady is managing, not looking like us, passing out flyers for Sewage and Water Board. Outreach to Sewage and Water Board, got a master's in public relations and terrible with it. She's managed Lincoln Beach for 4 years, and people say she's smart. I'm in City Hall fighting by my damn self, bro. going down now. The community support me, but I'm down there by my damn self. Fighting it, Reggie Ford showing up when he can, Bliss showing up when she can, community member do show up when they can. But you know, I'm damn near fighting for myself for position in the project, and they failed.
Yeah.
Our project, they failed our community, not with federal dollars, community money.
I see it. I was in on City Hall with you when
You showed up. I remember you showed up. You said, "Sid, I just want to be 10 toes down with you." I remember you showed up.
Yeah.
See, so you showed up. You watched it.
Yeah, and when what do they get these people from? Like when they hire these people, we talked about it off air, but I have nothing against people that go to college. I want you to know everybody on podcasts is for higher education. I got kids that's in college now, but one of the things that we can continue to see is you bringing down college, but not hands-on, and then they get these positions and they was offering you and Reggie a pass. And they were saying y'all two the only one can go on the lake. You remember that?
Yeah, well, what the deal was.
So can we visit it?
No, you can't. You can't. You got a security guard over there. A security guard, Force One security, and he's military. His office not even much in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm trying to say. Hold on. They said now they talk about that contract. Let's go into that.
Yeah. So the security contract back in the days when it happened, we have some local security contracts. Illinois security. Right. I'm like, listen, we got a local security contract. Just watch the beach. Because we were for Lincoln Beach having security because it was scheduled to get open summer 2024.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We had to.
We 2 years behind now.
You could look at the article. Summer 2024 is supposed to be open. Summer 2025 is supposed to be open. So getting security allowed them to stop people from putting feces and waste on the land because there was a lot of people there. Mm-hmm. So they have to use the bathroom somewhere. A lot of consumption over there, so I had to put the trash somewhere. Me and Reggie was doing it for about 4 years for no money, and we had to get back to our life. Mm-hmm. It became tax on us, and it became put back polluting on the environment. Right. And it became encrypting the community because all those people parking at community, parking on the corners. Then they attract other crime, getting windows busted. So I just say that part, bro.
So no, but the security contract is that person.
So yeah, the security contract was like this. When we saw that an outside company got the security contract for Mississippi, we was like, hold up, let's look at the security contract, the office procurement side. And I think this is when like JG Corey had reached out to Reggie, and Reggie was like, look, let Helena Moreno was she was the we reached out to Oliver Thomas too. I let him know about it, but we reached out to Helena. She was like the at large, and it was like, listen, the security contract not good. And then we looked at the procurement process. A company put a number in the wrong box, and they kicked the contract out. Like it was a good number, but he just filled it out wrong.
Right.
So what happened was we discovered they had good contract proposals, but they filled it out wrong.
All of them?
Some of them.
All right.
Not too many people. Here it is. Not too many companies applied. So I can't fight for business community, not fight for themselves.
Yeah.
But it's the lack of knowledge too around procurements and brass and how to actually secure a contract.
Yeah.
too.
So what happened was when Helena Moreno pulled me and Reggie in the meetings and brought it together, and she brought us to the table, and we saw that there was a problem. We got them to reissue the contract, and we got all procurement to do more education on, and they had a boot camp.
Okay.
And they had education boot camp. I'm not blaming office procurement, but you just got to watch these things that are just automatic kickouts. Right. Because if it's wrong, the computer gonna kick it out.
Right.
And that's the thing about AI. Mm-hmm. The AI gonna kick it out, right? Because they don't fit right. But I need somebody else to say, yeah, AI gonna fill it, but we gotta see.
We gotta review it. Yeah.
Like man, just put the name wrong, the number wrong. Let's just not kick it out, because those people who got the technical skills to fill it out gonna be more in an institution. Mm-hmm. Right. Not the Vietnamese people who come from Vietnam can't write correctly, or not the man who got a few security guards correct. And black business need to come together because it don't recognize race. You got to compete with the systems. So instead of like one company, you got to make one big company to compete better.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's a great idea. And I didn't had a couple of meetings over the week about that. When you see them media-wise come together, you'll hear this all the time. They have something going on in Baton Rouge and New Orleans to be talking about. They'll say our affiliate or whatever. And I think that barbers, plumbers, and everybody need to come together and some kind of way unify so they can go after the big job, and then all y'all know how to do the work, and you could just separate the check once the check come. But you got to secure the bag, and that's one thing that I think that we don't do a good enough job at. And to see other people eat in your city, like we have all these events down here, we don't eat how we supposed to as business owners. We don't, because we don't get the contracts. For the Super Bowl, I seen so many people, Minnesota, Cincinnati, with like large contracts out here, and they get these contracts or whatever. They travel behind big events, and they win these contracts or whatever.
So let me tell you something. During the storm, I think I got off the interstate and I saw 5 street sweepers like go to the gas station. I'm like, damn, where y'all from? Like, we're from Chicago. I said, you gotta be kidding. Y'all drove street sweepers from Chicago to here. So yeah, it's cheaper for us to drive them here and make the money, and then to get them shipped here and make the money. You know, it's all about trying to make sure that we have the best people at the table to make sure the contracts, local people can compete for the contracts. Like, you know, so while we have the help from the Office of Procurement Office with doing different boot camps, businesses got to come together and network together so we could compete for these projects. So like, you know, it's just not just for local people getting projects; it's for local community members. You know, one thing you wanna mention something, but I was about to say that because I know I'm long-winded. I know we gotta wrap this up. But one thing what I want to say before we wrap it up is that I really, you know, if I could really, like, the goal is to be a fruit of the spirit, and have seeds. And once those seeds fall to the ground, they live for the future, and to plant and for other future generations. So it's my cultivation is to inspire others and try to set an example of how you could lead your own fight in the world. And then no matter what you do, just for some reason, just being black in America, you're not going to get the privilege. You're not going to get the position. You're not going to get these things, but you're gonna be rewarded in a different way. The community's going to have your back. The people are going to have your back. And it's like different things. Like, you might not get a key to the city from somebody, but if you have a New Orleans East festival and they put a kayak and a person on it, I say, shit, bro. Hey, bro, come here, artist, Mr. Artist. Yeah. You, is that me? He said, yeah, man. Says that's you. On in that New Orleans East Festival.
Yeah.
Painting that he made.
Right.
That's me. And he said, let me tell you something else, bro. You the only person in that painting. You got Bunny Bread, you got all these other things, you got Lincoln Beat, but you get honored in ways that you think you want to get honored one way, but you get honored in so many other ways. You can't have no regrets.
Right.
Even though Lincoln Beach not open, but we open the hearts and minds of many.
Yes.
And that's what counts, you know?
Right. Keep fighting, man. I'm the Honorable Darren D. Purnell, the street speaker himself. This is only segment 1 with the Great Sage News, and we're going to come back 2 or even maybe 3 times. We're not going to let it, we're going to keep him hostage for y'all to make sure. And I hope you guys got the information you're supposed to get. And don't forget to go get our book, Businessmen, is on Amazon right now. Yo, Rick.
Well, you heard the man. But before we get out of here, Sage, let the people know where to find you at in the meantime until you get back on Erabody's podcast.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram mainly at Mayor Lincoln Beach.
Well, you heard him. And as for the book is out right now. It's Businessmen on Amazon. And as for Erabody's podcast, we're on all social media platforms at Erabody's Podcast. That's ERA Body's Podcast on all social media sites. And we out. Peace.